Have you ever found yourself saying yes, then immediately wanted to punch yourself in the face? Today, we're going to talk about something that's probably costing you thousands of hours of your life: the inability to say no. But here's what makes this interesting: your problem isn't that you don't know how to say no, your problem is that you feel like you're not allowed to say no. Think about your last reluctant yes. That moment when your mouth said, sure, no problem, but your brain was screaming, what are you doing? That's not a communication issue. That's a permission issue. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you why saying no isn't just okay, it's essential. And you'll learn how to do it without feeling like you're letting everyone down. But first, let's talk about what saying yes to everything is really costing you. Chapter 1: The Hidden Cost. Let me share something fascinating about your brain. Every time you force yourself to say yes when you want to say no, you're actually spending two different resources. The first is obvious, your time. But the second is something scientists call emotional bandwidth. Here's what that means in real life. When you reluctantly agree to help your coworker with their project, you're not just giving up those 2 hours. You're also spending mental energy on dreading it, resenting it, and probably complaining about it to anyone who will listen. Think about that for a moment. You're not just losing the time, you're losing the mental peace before it, during it, and sometimes even after it. But here's where it gets really interesting. Your brain actually keeps a running tab of these reluctant yeses. And just like a credit card bill, eventually that tab comes due. The payment, burnout, resentment, and the slow erosion of your relationships. This is why learning to say no isn't just about time management. It's about self-preservation. In the next chapter, I'll show you why even the most successful people you know struggled with this, and what finally changed everything for them. Chapter 2: The Permission Paradox. Here's something that might surprise you. The more successful someone becomes, the more they say no. But here's the twist. They didn't become successful and then start saying no. They became successful because they learned to say no. Think about the most respected person you know. I bet they don't say yes to everything. In fact, I bet they're known for being selective with their time. This is what I call the permission paradox. The more you say no, the more people respect your yes. Chapter 3: The Technique. Now, let's get to the part you've been waiting for. The exact method for saying no that feels good for both you and the person asking. I call this the bridge method because it doesn't burn connections, it strengthens them. Here's how it works. Instead of starting with no, you start with understanding. When someone makes a request, you respond with 3 parts. First, acknowledgement. I appreciate you thinking of me for this. Second, your reality. Right now, I'm focused on insert your priority. Third, the door. But I'd be happy to insert smaller alternative future possibility. Let's see this in action. Imagine your friend asks you to help them move this weekend. Old you, ugh, yeah, sure. Internal screaming. New you, I really appreciate you thinking of me for this. I've actually committed this weekend to finishing a project I'm behind on, but I'd be happy to recommend a great moving service I used last year. Notice what happened there. You respected their need while honoring your reality. Chapter 4: The Guilt Killer. Now let's address the elephant in the room: the guilt. Every time you say yes when you want to say no, you're actually being dishonest twice. First, you're lying to yourself about your capacity. And second, you're lying to the other person about your enthusiasm. Think about that. Is it really kinder to say yes resentfully than to say no respectfully? Chapter 5: Real-world application. Let's take these principles into the trenches. I'm going to show you exactly how to handle the 4 most challenging no situations. Situation 1: the boss's quick request. When your manager drops by with just one small thing, here's your template. I want to give this the attention it deserves. Currently, I'm focused on current priority, which you assigned. Would you like me to pause that to work on this instead? See what happened there? You've transformed a yes-no situation into a priority discussion. Situation 2: the family guilt trip. But we always have Christmas dinner at our house. Here's how you handle it. Mom, I love our Christmas traditions. They're one of my favorite parts of the year. This Christmas, Sarah and I really need to split time between both families. Could we do Christmas Eve here instead? I'll bring that apple pie you love. Chapter 6: The Emergency Protocol. Now here's where most people crash and burn. The emergency request. You know the one. I know it's last minute, but I'm desperate. Here's your new emergency response framework. First, the pause. Never respond to emergencies immediately. Second, the question. What would you do if I wasn't available? Third, the limited offer. I can give you 15 minutes to brainstorm solutions, but I can't take this on. This approach keeps you helpful without becoming the solution. Chapter 7. The Success Accelerator. Every major success story has a hidden no list. Steve Jobs didn't just make Apple great by what he created. He made it great by saying no to thousands of good ideas to focus on a few great ones. But here's the part nobody talks about. It's not just about saying no to bad opportunities. It's about saying no to good ones. This is what it's called the success filter. If it's not a hell yes, it's a no. Chapter 8. The Transformation. Now, let's talk about what happens when you start implementing this. Week 1, you'll feel guilty. That's normal. Your brain is breaking a lifetime habit. Week 2, you'll notice something strange. People start respecting your time more. Week 3, the magic happens. You'll find yourself with energy you didn't know you had. And here's the best part. The quality of your yeses will transform your life. Chapter 9. The New You. We're near the end now. But before you go, I want you to understand something crucial. Saying no isn't about being unavailable. It's about being intentionally available for what matters most. Your no is someone else's opportunity. Your boundaries are someone else's chance to grow. And most importantly, every time you say no to what doesn't serve you, you're saying yes to what does. Starting today, give yourself permission. Permission to say no. Permission to set boundaries. Permission to choose yourself. Because the world doesn't need another exhausted yes person. It needs what only your best self can give. One last thing. I have a challenge for you. In the next 24 hours, you're going to get a request that you'd normally say yes to automatically. When that moment comes, I want you to pause, take a breath, and ask yourself one question. If I had to do this right now, would I be excited about it? If the answer is no, use what you learned today. And here's the interesting part. Come back to this video's comments and share what happened. Because every time you share your boundary success, you give someone else permission to find theirs. See you in the comments. And hey, if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. Also, let me know your thoughts on what I just shared. Oh, and there's more. I've just started a Patreon to help support these videos and connect with you more directly. Check out the link in the description if you'd like to join. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.